Rangers do it again as they achieve their 18th comeback victory on the season, which is tied for the most in the NHL with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they also have not lost 3 straight games in regulation this season. They've had one 3-game losing streak, and that was earlier this season when they lost 2 in overtime to Vancouver and Edmonton, and then they lost in regulation to Calgary. So they are doing a very good job of not letting a couple of bad losses snowball, and they're able to turn it around and turn it into winning streaks in most cases. And just the way they play in the third period is really something to behold. They are a very average team in the first and second periods. We've seen numerous times the first period, they not play so well. There's been improvement in that category. The second periods are very hit or miss, but the third period, the Rangers really are able to just turn it up. And in this case, it was extremely impressive because the end of the second period was about as bad and as heartbreaking and disappointing as you could ask for, as the Rangers allowed 3 goals in less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So they were able to turn that around and win the game. And the Rangers have really made Madison Square Garden a home ice advantage. Yes, they did lose to Vancouver in the last game at MSG, but against the Blues, they're able to win. And I feel like you're mostly finding these comeback wins. I'd have to say most of them are at home. And that's why I think even though home ice you find in the NHL playoffs, you want that Game 7 at home, but we've seen a lot of teams win on the road in Game 7. But I think in this potential Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Rangers series, I do tend to think that it might be a really big difference to get that, that decisive Game 7 if it goes there at MSG. But this was the return of Pavel Buchnevich, and I was convinced that he was going to score a goal. Absolutely convinced against his good buddy Igor Shesterkin, but that did not happen. He had his chances when the Blues were down 1-0 in the second. Buchnevich had a mini breakaway, and the puck slid by Shesterkin, but wide. It didn't go in. That was the closest chance he had. The stat sheet doesn't look kindly for Buchnevich, as he had no points. It was a -2, but he was noticeable. But the Rangers find a way, just like they do most of the times. It's not pretty, but they get it done. And in this game, we would see the return of Philip Heedle, who didn't play a whole lot, just over 9 minutes of action for Heedle. But I thought in the limited time, he was pretty active. He had some good chances in the third period specifically. When they were down 3-2, he had a couple of opportunities. And then on defense, the Rangers went back to Patrick Nemeth. And they sent down Zach Jones. It seems like with Jones, he'll be up and down. I would not be surprised if we see him soon. In fact, Ryan Lindgren seemed to be hurt at the end of the game. I don't think it's anything too serious, but he was in definite pain. But my guess is that he'll be all right. But Patrick Nemeth scores his first goal as a New York Ranger, a very important goal at that, a tying goal in the third period. So, it's a good moment for him. Someone who's had a really tough year in his first year with the Rangers, so that was great to see. But for the Rangers, I thought that they got off to a pretty good start, as it was Ville Husso in net for the Blues and Shesterkin, of course, for the Rangers. These are 2 of the top goalies in the NHL this year. Husso has really kind of taken over the starting goaltender role for the Blues from Jordan Binnington, who, of course, won a Stanley Cup just a few years ago. But the Rangers were able to get on the board first. And this was after a couple of penalties. Dryden Hunt with a boarding penalty. And Hunt, he's still on that Panarin-Strome line, which was mostly good in this game. They honestly were. Hunt, I still think that's got to be a spot where Kakko, when he comes back, ideally you insert him next to Panarin and Strome. But the good thing was, 16 seconds after that Hunt penalty, Tarasenko high-sticks Kevin Rooney. Now, I don't know if it had anything to do with this, but Rooney, he would finish out the first period, but then he would not return We would not see Kevin Rooney. I think it was termed as an upper body injury, and Gallant provided no update after the game. So that would be a bit of a loss. He is a top penalty killer, and while I wish that he had more of a, to me, he kind of has third line minutes, and I wish it was more fourth line minutes. Either way, Kevin Rooney, that would be a bit of a loss. So Greg McKegg, he basically took Rooney's spot, which is kind of scary. But McKegg, give him credit. He did what he had to do, and he played almost 14 minutes. It really goes to show the faith that Glenn has in him, and why I think Greg McKegg, I don't think he's necessarily going anywhere. Even after the trades, I still think McKegg will find his way into that lineup, like over, let's say, a Julian Gauthier, who Gallant just clearly doesn't trust. Gauthier, besides Rooney, had the least ice time. So there was a little bit of 4-on-4 action, and the Rangers get on the board first. And who is it? Alexis Lafreniere scores again. His 13th goal of the season, assisted by Adam Fox. Lafreniere just burying the rebound, very Chris Kreider-esque, who was actually right near him on the play. Lafreniere, we see a lot of the goals he scores are right near the crease, and so it's just good to see. It's feeling like he's finally turning a corner. And was this like his best game? No, I wouldn't say it was, but just the fact that he scores again is huge. So the Rangers have a 1-0 lead, but the second half of that period was not great, as Shesterkin made a lot of key saves. Like the Rangers, I thought they got off to a good start, but it was not a good finish. But Igor kind of bailed them out there, so they kept the 1-0 lead. Early in the second, it would be against his former team. Ryan Reeves is called for an interference penalty. The Rangers' penalty kill gets the job done, as the Rangers' special teams was pretty key in this one. And Reeves takes that penalty. Didn't think it was a particularly great game from Ryan Reeves, but what can you do? He's someone who Gallant trusts, obviously, from their time in Vegas. And Ryan Reeves in the night played 12-21. That's a little bit more than you like, in my personal opinion. I think Ryan Reeves, I think you want to give him at most 10 minutes a night, maybe even less than that. So, but the Rangers do a good job to keep it at 1-0. And then things start to get crazy from a goals standpoint, where at 16:36, Ryan Strome scores to give the Rangers a 2-0 lead, assisted by Perron and Trouba. And Perron, to this point, it was a rough game. For the first two periods, it was a lot of what we've seen from Perron, a lot of turnovers, just a lot of stopping and not skating, east-west passes, just completely ineffective, not being hard on the puck. But still, it's funny with Perron and with Fox to a certain extent, even when it doesn't seem like they're playing that well, they still get the points. So Strome with a big goal. That's goals and two straight for Ryan Strome. And he had also scored against Ottawa recently as well. So for Strome, I believe that's actually 3 goals in 4 games. So, and actually might not be correct, but the point is he's scoring goals a lot recently. For someone who we've gotten on hard for missing a lot of open nets. Seems like he scores the tougher ones, but Strome, I thought this was a good game for him. So it gives the Rangers a 2-0 lead, but then is when things get really bad. So Chris Kreider has a turnover that leads to a mini 2-on-1, and Fox can't break it up, and Saad gets it over to Ryan O'Reilly, who scores. So right away, less than a minute after the Strome goal, O'Reilly scores to make it 2-1. But then it gets worse because at 18:37, a little more than a minute after that O'Reilly goal, Barbashev's in all alone on the left side, and he scores. For some reason, Trouba just kind of let him go at the blue line. I don't know why he did that. He should have put a little bit of pressure on him. I would say out of the 3 goals that Shesterkin gave up, this one would probably one that he'd want to have back. It was a clear side shot. It wasn't like really a breakaway. He came from the left side, and it was a pretty good shot by Barbashev, but I think Igor would want to have that one back. And so it's 2-2. And then with 15 seconds to go in the period, the Blues score again. So bad enough that it was 2-1, really bad enough that it was 2-2, but the Blues actually take the lead. And it's David Perron on a nice pass from Ryan O'Reilly, who is I mean, the captain for the Blues really came through there in that 2 minute and about 14-second stretch at the end of the second period, and really deflating. The new, because McKegg took over for Rooney, McKegg, Reeves, and Goodrow were on for 2 of those goals, the last 2, and the Rangers could not hang on to even have it tied. So the Rangers are down 3-2 going in the third, and tough pill to swallow. I mean, you're not used to seeing the Rangers do that this season, and especially Igor. That was 3 shots, 3 goals. So it's just, you don't see it. So 3-2 going to the third. And it'd be easy for a team to just, get down on themselves after what was really a disastrous and sudden end to that period. But this Ranger team has been resilient all year long. If there's one thing I can say about them, they have turned into a very clutch team. It's not always going to work out, obviously, but they are able to come back. They're able to play well in the third period. And it's different heroes each game. And the Rangers were able to get a goal from Patrick Nemeth, the first goal of the season for Nemeth, on a play where there was a bit of a 2-on-1. Dryden Hunt feeds Strome, and Strome didn't really have much room, and the puck kind of comes back out to Nemeth, and the net is open, and Nemeth takes a shot, and it kind of goes off of Ivan Barbashev's leg, might have gone off the post and in. So Viliuso, the Blues goalie, was upset. I guess he thought there was goal interference. There wasn't. There was nothing illegal about what was done. And Nemeth scores. So what a way for him to get his first goal as a Ranger. And it ties it up at 3. Then the Rangers have their first true power play. The other one was a 16-minute power play. This is a Colton Parayko delay of game penalty. And Gallant does a great thing where Zibanejad has a great chance that's stopped with 44 seconds left in the power play. Gallant calls a timeout to allow that first unit to stay on. And towards the end of that power play, they get the classic shot for the point by Fox, deflected by Chris Kreider. So Kreider was kind of left alone in front, gets a stick on the puck, and it goes in. So Kreider's 35th goal of the season, assisted by Fox and Panarin. And I thought Artemi Panarin in the third period looked like a different player. Like he was really hard on the puck. As bad as he had been those first 2 periods, I really thought that he stepped up in that third period in a big way. So the Rangers make it 4-3 on that Kreider goal. And then you have a fight between Jacob Trouba and Braden Shen. At 11:57, Trouba delivers a big hit on a blue, and Shen goes in there. And it was a little unfortunate that Trouba was basically out for a crucial part of this game because of this fight. It led to more minutes for Braden Schneider, and the Rangers were able to survive that, but not, without it being a little bit dicey, as Alexis Lafreniere takes a slashing penalty at 15:33. I thought this was a weak call, considering the moment of the game, where they were, and seemed like a bit of a, just, he didn't need to slash him, but I don't know, a little questionable. But the Rangers penalty kill gets it done. And then soon thereafter, it's an empty net goal for Artemi Panarin, assisted by Adam Fox. And the Rangers win it 5-3. And so it's a 3-point night for Fox, 3 assists, and a 3-point night for Panarin, a goal and 2 assists. So that production exists even when they're not at their, A level. But like I said, both of them, especially Panarin, with a really great third period. So this is a really nice win for the Rangers. Now they will play another game at the Garden before going on a road trip. And this game that they'll play at home will be against the New Jersey Devils, who the Rangers played earlier this season in really a pretty back-and-forth game in which they won in the shootout. And I believe Georgiev started that one. Remains to be seen who will be the goalie for this one. I would assume that it'll be Igor, but I guess you never know. But I think that the Devils are playing better lately. They are coming off a loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets, but they're also coming off of some recent really lopsided good victories, one at Pittsburgh, one home against Vancouver. So, in a rivalry game, this will not be easy. And, you hope the Rangers can build off this, really nice win against the St. Louis Blues, and they should be obviously very motivated, facing a rival in the New Jersey Devils. So, good win for the Rangers, and really, the thing that really resonates with me is just the fact that they went from a team under David Quinn that found ways to lose games, and now they find ways to win games, as they are, one of the best teams in the third period, and that's going to be a good sign as this team matures, this year and beyond.